We now know that the Democrats are intending to pack the Supreme Court. Whether there's any likelihood that that succeeds or not is a whole entirely different discussion. But we learned today that there is now a bill that is being proffered by Democrats in the House of Representatives, specifically Jerry Nadler and others, that is seeking to expand the size of the Supreme Court in a move that would basically be a catastrophic change for this country. And so we're going to go through this. We're going to look at the actual bill itself, one that is being put forward. We're going to hear from Jerry Nadler. We're going to hear from Mitch McConnell. And I think we even might have Nancy Pelosi. So let's see what's going on. We're going to frame out what this means. We're going to look at the structure of the current Supreme Court and how it might change if the Democrats get their way. So let's get into it. First story comes over from the WallStreetJournal.com, says Democratic lawmakers, they present their plan to expand the Supreme Court. The initiative runs counter to Biden administration's commission on overhauling the court after 3 conservative Trump appointments. And so, yeah, Trump, really did a number on the Supreme Court from a conservative perspective, got 3 different nominees, and the Democrats are not happy about it. Lawmakers who are Democrats plan to introduce legislation on Thursday today that would add 4 seats to the Supreme Court, an initiative that has slim hopes of passage, but reflects progressives' impatience with President Biden's cautious approach towards overhauling a court. Last week, Biden signed an executive order establishing a 36-member commission to report back within 6 months on possible changes to the Supreme Court's website. Memberships. Jurisdiction, lifetime terms. Mr. Biden appointed former Obama White House counsel Bob Bauer, Yale law professor Christina Rodriguez as co-chairman of the commission. Other members include many widely respected scholars, including some noted conservatives. Jerry Nadler from New York and Representative Hake Johnson of Georgia and New York says, we need more than a commission to restore integrity to the court. So that's gonna sit well with the current justices. There's no integrity on this current court, so we need more than a commission to restore integrity, said Ed Markey of Massachusetts. He's co-sponsoring the legislation. We have the White House. They didn't respond to comment. Supreme Court also declined to comment. So you've got a little bit of tension here in the Democratic Party. You've got President Biden, who, probably recognizes that this is not a good political move to try to pack the court. Probably, I think the people in his administration recognize that, which is why he sent this to a commission to die, or to sort of justify that he was doing something about this, right? All of the Democrats and liberals are angry as hell that Trump got Gorsuch and Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh. It just grinds them. So they want some action on this stuff, and they want it now. But Biden knows that if this is something that is in the political zeitgeist for the foreseeable future, that come midterms in 2020, which is right around the corner, they may be punished badly and end up losing the House and the Senate as a consequence. So he wanted to send this thing up to a commission. Democrats not happy with that. So now we have Jerry Nadler and others who are saying, we're going to go pack this thing. And current judges on here have no integrity. They're garbage. So we need to add literally another 4 in order to balance this thing out. And I want to show you what that breakdown looks like. But before we get there, here is Jerry Nadler explaining what he wants to do today.
Number of justices up to Congress. And Congress has changed that number 7 times in the history of the country. Our founders understood that as the country and the judicial system evolve, the court needs to evolve with it. And this legislation represents a much-needed next step in that evolution. Many people think about the Supreme Court in terms of its individual members, and they're right to do so. But it's also the fact that in addition to what we were referring to a few minutes ago, in terms of the legitimacy of the court, the efficiency of the court is another question. 9 justices may have made sense in the 19th century, when there were only 9 circuits. Only a few hundred appeals were filed before the court every year. And so many of our most important laws, everything from civil rights to antitrust, the internet, financial regulation, healthcare, immigration, and white-collar crime, simply did not exist as far as the court was concerned, and did not require adjudication by the Supreme Court. But the logic behind having only 9 justices is much weaker today, when there are 13 circuit courts, thousands of cases filed before the court each year, and the full range of statutes and regulations that make our economy and our society work. And that's why, unlike through most of our history, The Supreme Court accepts certiorari, accepts cases in a tiny, tiny fraction of cases. And that means that most cases, the vast majority of cases, the overwhelming majority of cases, don't get considered by the Supreme Court, which they are entitled to do, and throughout much of our history did. Our predecessors made eminent sense when they rigged the...
All right, so somebody should get that guy a stool or like lower the mics a little bit. I mean, look at that. Like just get him a booster seat so we can see him a little bit better. Put the microphones down. So there's Jerry Nadler coming out and saying that, look, we need more justice in this country. Okay, the Supreme Court's too small. We only have 9 justices. We have 13 circuit courts. So it just makes sense that we just add, another handful of judges so that we can get up to 13 so that we have nice synergy there. We need more justice in this country. We need more appeals. We need more oversight. We need more stuff. The rest of the government is exploding in size and spending. So why not increase the Supreme Court? Right? We want more Supreme Court, not less of it. So he goes through and he's sort of making a practical case for the change when we all know it's political garbage. You want to put 4 new liberal justices on the court because you didn't get the chance to do so when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Now, this is the bill that they are proffering. You can take a look at it. It says here they want to amend Title 28 of the U.S. Code to allow for 12 associate justices of the Supreme Court. So we don't have a title or a number on the bill yet, but it says it's going to amend Title 28 U.S. Code for 12 associate justices to the Supreme Court. Be it enacted, Senate and House of Representatives, this act may be called the Judiciary Act of 2021. They're going to amend the code. They're going to strike what says here a Chief Justice and 8 associate justices. They're going to just delete this stuff. Get rid of that. We don't like that. That's not enough justice here. We want to expand the hell out of this thing. So what are we going to do? We're going to go up here and say we're going to rewrite in here, inserting a Chief Justice of the United States and 12 associate justices, any 8 of whom shall constitute a quorum. So we're going to get rid of this section and we're going to add this section down here. So we're going to move it from 9 to 13. And this is what the current Supreme Court looks like if you have forgotten about this. And so we've got 6-3. We've got 9 seats right now. We got Judge Thomas, who we're big fans of over here. We got Gorsuch, we got Kavanaugh, we got Alito. And you may recall that Judge Barrett was the one who just replaced Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And so Ruth Bader Ginsburg used to be sort of over here. It used to be 5-4, but because Amy Coney Barrett is there, now it's 6-3, technically. Now there's a lot of argument about John Roberts over here. Kind of put him in the middle because on a lot of issues, he is liberal. I mean, we got Obamacare because of John Roberts. He said that that was a tax and that was authorized. So, you can really make the argument that on many issues that it's actually still sort of 5-4 just because of the fact that Roberts is always siding with the liberals. And so what do the Democrats want to do? They want to change it to this. Currently, we have this as a court. So they want to add literally 4 other seats to it. And what does that do to the numbers? Notice how it goes from 6-3 down to a 7-6. And it's weird because if they get this passed right now, then guess who gets to nominate these people? Well, Joe Biden does. And guess who gets to confirm those people? The Democratic-controlled Senate, right? And they've got the wherewithal to do it. They can pass this quite easily. So this, if they get the support. Now, this is what it looks like, right? So this is what it is currently. This is how they want it to be. And it's very curious because it seems sort of like there's some tension here. Joe Biden originally said that they were going to study this issue. So why is Jerry Nadler and these other people suddenly submitting this bill? What's going on here? Have we gotten the result of a study? Do we even know whether this is going to be good or useful or whether this helps us at all? Here is an analysis from the Wall Street Journal. It says the Biden orders a study of Supreme Court changes. He ordered a commission and he said it's going to be a bipartisan commission. He said that was going to happen during the campaign. He hasn't said whether he will endorse any changes in response to the commission's report. So Biden formed a commission, but really we don't know if he's going to do anything with the analysis, right? Nobody knows. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Friday that he would review the report and it would impact his thinking moving forward. So that's good. That's good. It's going to impact his thinking. That's great. That's good. We want things to impact Joe Biden's thinking because I'm not sure how much of that is left. So this will do that, which is a good thing. Senator Ed Markey supporter of expanding the court, said he welcomed the creation of the commission, but after years of Republicans upending precedent, breaking their own rules, stealing seats on the Supreme Court in order to use it as a political pawn, we need more than a commission to restore integrity to the court. We need to abolish the filibuster and expand the Supreme Court. So these guys are just out of control. We have Ben Sasse dismiss the commission as pointless exercise. President Biden knows that he doesn't have the votes in his own party to pack the court. He knows that court packing is a non-starter with the American people. He knows the commission's report is just going to be a taxpayer-funded doorstopper. White House said Bob Bauer, former Obama White House counsel, top Biden campaign advisor, would co-chair the commission, along with Yale law professor Christina Rodriguez. Commission includes some of the nation's best-known legal scholars, former federal judges, and a lot of people who, really apparently know a lot about this issue. Membership leans liberal, but there are some influential conservatives. Political scientist Keith Whittington of Princeton, advocate of originalism, Adam White of Antonin Scalia Law School. All right, we have the White House said topics before the commission will include the genesis of the reform debate, the court's role in the constitutional system, the length of service and turnover of justices on the court, the membership and the size of the court, and the court's case selection rules and practices. So it's pretty expansive. Here is Mitch McConnell opining, weighing in on this attempt to change the fabric of the country. Here is Senator Mitch McConnell says if Republicans had introduced a bill to add 4 Supreme Court seats in the last president, there'd be wall-to-wall coverage all over the place.
One survey late last year showed that a clear majority of Americans opposed packing the Supreme Court. But the farthest left activists aren't interested in the common good. They want power. And the same Democrats and the same corporate media that spent the last 4 years hyperventilating and declaring a new constitutional crisis was underway every 30 seconds seem to be perfectly content to play along. Now, if Republicans had introduced a bill to add 4 Supreme Court seats for the last president to fill, there would have been weeks of wall-to-wall outrage on every newspaper and cable TV channel, non-stop. Now, it seems the main strategies are either to shrug off and look the other way or to actively play along and somehow lend credence.
All right, so he used the word hyperventilating, which is my word. All these people, every time there's a little bit of a rub and something going on, just breathing out of control, they can't handle it. And he's absolutely right? If Donald Trump had come out and said, hey, you know what, we need to reform the Supreme Court, how much bloviating would we have heard from everybody saying this is the danger to our democracy, they're undermining America, this is not who we are, this is American, this is dictatorship, Trump's an orange Nazi, on and on and on and on. Democrats now actually have a bill that is being submitted into Congress, and nobody even really bats an eye about it. It's kind of, all right, pack the court, whatever. We have Nancy Pelosi not really saying that there's going to be much movement on this, at least not yet. She says we're not going to vote on it yet. Threw cold water on the bill unveiled earlier today. She told supporters that she has no plans to put the proposal on the floor. This comes over from hotair.com. This is Ed Morrissey. Good website, good follow. Says here, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi does not support the effort by congressional leaders to expand the court from 9 to 13 justices, will not bring the bill to the floor vote. She made a revelation during her weekly press briefing, offered a stark no after being asked if she's going to move this forward. Says, I support the president's commission to study such a proposal. Going on to say that she and her members were focused on the infrastructure package, not the judiciary. As for whether she would eventually support court packing the court, she said the jury was still out on the matter. Oh, that Pelosi, she's so clever, talking about packing the court. The jury is still out. See that? See what she did there? So clever. No wonder she's been in charge of the House of Representatives for the last 2 decades. Let's take some questions over from locals.com. Our community is watching the watchers. .locals.com is the web address. First up, we got Todd Trott. Says, Robert, do you like Barnes's idea that we should have more justices, but the new justices should be evenly chosen by each party? His reasoning is that the caseload for the Supreme Court is too heavy to hear all the cases they should. Well, I don't know. I don't want to throw shade on Robert Barnes's idea because I like his ideas, generally speaking. So I'd like to look a little bit more into what he's sort of proposing there. Justices should be evenly chosen by each party. My problem with that is I hate the parties. I hate the 2 parties, right? I think they're both garbage. So I don't want political parties I know practically that's how it works is we pick them, but I just hate the idea that we're going to just have, like boilerplate Republican judges and boilerplate liberal judges. It's like, can we just get some people who are, Americans who like think in a political philosophy, like originalism, and are we going to get a bunch of Federalists on there and it's like, what's going on? My only thought on that right now. We have chairman of the board says, I hate to point out the obvious, but don't they recognize that as soon as Republicans are back in power, they can just expand it again in a never-ending cycle? Or is that part of the Democratic plan to change voting and immigration laws to ensure they are in power for the rest of time? Yeah, that is, I think, exactly the plan, right? We've seen some of this. Tucker Carlson was even talking about this, about sort of the importation of votes, importing people from different countries and different demographics who vote in one particular manner. Tucker Carlson had a whole brilliant, actually, monologue about that if you missed that. But yeah, it's this idea that people are coming in, the fabric of the country is changing, and you're seeing people actively advocate for that. I think that there was a clip that Tucker played about Julio Castro, I think, talking about Texas turning blue and basically attributing that to immigration, right? You're importing a population that is going to vote one particular way, and that's going to change the fabric of the electoral system indefinitely. So maybe the Democrats just see the writing on the wall, or maybe they include some provision that says that basically make the change and pull the ladder up to make the change back more difficult down the line. You can't put that past them either. We have Norovira says, Rob, where do you stand on a big picture of things as far as how influential the Supreme Court is in our society and our law? I thought they were very important, and now not so much. I think they are becoming irrelevant. Just look at the E-L-E shuns and the lack of effect that the Supreme Court had on fairness on that issue. Yeah, so it's a great point. The Supreme Court is a very important institution. They still carry a lot of weight and legitimacy currently. But I do agree with you, Nora, that this was a ball-dropping era of the Supreme Court, right? We had a very, very important constitutional question during this last election that has not been rectified. And it has nothing to do with Joe Biden being legitimate or anything like that. Joe Biden is a president. He's legitimate, all right? Don't throw me out the window, YouTube. Okay, that's the deal, right? He got elected. He's in office. He's been in office for the last however many months now, and that's a done deal. That's not what I'm talking about. The question, the legal question that was not answered is whether states can sort of divest the power of elections from the state legislatures in contravention to the Constitution. Can Board of Elections or Board of Electors enter into settlement agreements? Can Secretary of States do that? Can courts on their own modify election rules? Supreme Court didn't answer any of that stuff for us. They just sort of punted on that, which was very ineffective, right? Regardless of what you want the outcome to be, it's irrelevant, right? I would have liked the Supreme Court to just give us an answer, because this is going to happen again down the road. And I think the Supreme Court really missed the mark on it. They're supposed, that's the function of the Supreme Court. It's to get in there and settle these disputes for us. And I thought that they should have on that one. But they kind of did by not answering the question. They kind of just said, yeah, it's a free-for-all. Do whatever you want, which I think is ineffective. And it is disappointing that we didn't get more guidance out of them. I think that they really missed the mark and undermined their reason for existing, which is to settle those conflicts of the law. Liberty or Death says, I think they're going to end the filibuster and really go for it. I see Creepy Joe putting 1, maybe 2 on. Then he is gone. So VP becomes 46 and will be the first woman president to put a woman of color on the bench. Maybe even Bruce Caitlyn Jenner. The Constitution doesn't say a member of SCOTUS. Must be a lawyer. Oh my goodness. Liberty. That is like a cascade of bad things happening, just one right after the other. Well, listen, let me not say that, right? If we have a woman of color on the bench, I have no problems with that. If Caitlyn Jenner goes on the bench, is she a lawyer to have any legal expertise or anything like that? I don't have any problem with any demographics of any sexual orientation of any judge, as long as they're a good judge. If they're an originalist and they want to look back to the original intent of the Constitution or the underlying rules that sort of were enacted back then and extrapolate those to our modern era, I don't care what you look like or who you want to sleep with or whatever. Doesn't matter to me a bit. We have Hack Consulting says, did you finish Beyond Order by Peterson? So I am on Rule 10 right now, and I have I actually got 2 of his posters. They're right over there. I can't go get them and show them to you because I'm hooked up right now. But I'm on Rule 10. Very slow read because it's some heavy lifting. Now, I would say the first 3 rules, it kind of took me a while to get through. Then I picked up the pace on the remaining rules. So I think I have 2 rules left. Yes, let's take a quick look at the rest of your comments. As I started it earlier today, finally. Played hooky with college. Did something better. Had the book for 2 months. Just now had time that I was able to stake out and use how I want to. Good for you, Hack Consulting. Yeah, it's a good book. I posted on Twitter. I said I think, on Rule 3, Chapter 3, whatever, and I already had like 3 existential life crises by that moment in time. And there's some heavy stuff in there, but it does get a little bit easier if you start reading it. Jordan Peterson, Beyond Order. I'd love to talk to that guy at some point. I don't have the stones to reach out to him and see if he'll come on the show, but maybe we will do that sometime down the road because huge fan of his work. He's been very, very instrumental to me and helping me to sort of organize and structure my life in a good, positive way. So huge fan, huge recommendation. Go pick up Beyond Order from Jordan Peterson. Great book. We have News Now Wyoming says, part of me wants them to end the filibuster completely and pack the court. That will really turn the system around in 2022, and the other side would gain control again. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's like, let's just go nuclear, right? If we want to see the Democrats just go hog wild, go for it. Let's see what happens. And we'll just pull out all the stops. Yeah, give them the court. Give them everything. Have fun with it. See how this country turns out. We're going to have 50 different Californias, and that is not that ideal for many people in this country. Californians might like that, paying, astronomical taxes on everything and walking around avoiding literal crap on the streets on a regular basis, but I don't want to live like that. So if you do give that to the Democrats, maybe we start to see some of that trickle down onto us. And the reason why people find that to be attractive is because it's called accelerationism, right? Accelerationist. Let's just get to it already, right? Rather than this slow sort of like slow boiling frog in hot water situation, let's pull out all the stops. Let's see what it is. Impose your draconian tax policies. Tax everybody at 90%. See what happens. People will actually leave the country. And sometimes that may be what people want. Let's just get to it. Next up, we've got Honestly Rational. Says it's odd to be lectured by Nadler about the founders. Is he aware he is on the branch that could change the laws they are concerned about? I feel like it has more about wanting to influence the court, but who knows? Maybe he just really likes the number 13 and plans to add some constitutional originalists. Well, that is very, very, very that you're giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one. I'm gonna guess that there's not going to be any originalists who make up the additional 4 that the Democrats want to throw on there. But there's historical precedent for this. Remember that FDR tried this maneuver back when he was in his 4 terms, and he tried to pack the court. What happened? Remember, FDR was really trying to get a lot of the New Deal passed, and the Supreme Court was striking everything down. You don't have the right to do that. What are you, nuts? There's Commerce Clause, all these limitations on the federal government. You're trying to basically federalize all of these different industries. Constitution doesn't give you any authority to do that. So the Supreme Court was striking down, nope. Then FDR said, no problem. We're just going to expand the court. We're just going to bump it from 9 to 13. We'll see how you guys like that. Guess what happened after that threat? Supreme Court started just rubber stamping all of his stuff. Oh, yep, no, yeah. You want that alphabet letter? Nope, no problem. You want those 3? Sure. Work program, this program, whatever, all good to go. Have fun. And so they call that what is it? The switch in time that saved 9. I think you can Google that, look up that story a little bit. But it's it sort of saved the 9 justices because there was some differing rulings that were more favorable to Roosevelt, and the court stuck with that number as a result. So. Very interesting history there. But truthfully, I don't think that there's much likelihood that this actually changes. I think that. It is sort of political red meat for the base of the liberals, and then it's going to get those particular people who are behind that reelected. But is this going to go anywhere? I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to have the votes in the Senate. Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, they recognize that politically this is way too volatile, so I'm not particularly concerned about it. I am curious, though, as to what the current justices do as a result of this threat or of this attempt. Now, we just heard them all saying there's no integrity on the court. I wonder what Judge Roberts has to say about that. Okay, somebody who is more inclined to vote with the left. Now they're all calling him, somebody without integrity, kind of a piece of garbage, and they want to water down his role in the court. Right now, he's one of 9. He's the chief judge. But if he becomes one of 13, his part of the pie suddenly gets watered down. It's diluted by the other judges. And I don't think any one of them wants to do that, right? They all want legacies. They all want to stand out on the court. And so if you sort of, it's already hard to stand out, be one of 9 on the court. You want to, you got to get the opinions, write the majority opinions, and sort of create this persona over decades through your opinions. Not every judge does that, right? There's only kind of a handful of judges throughout our jurisprudence that really hit that level. You go, gosh, that guy was just somebody who changed the fabric of the judiciary for the better. A lot of other judges just kind of are bumps on the log, just kind of, oh, I'm a judge for a little while, right? Nothing consequential, but they all want that. So even though they're on the highest court in the land, they all still want to leave their mark. They have a legacy to leave, and it's hard to do with 9. So if you add another 13, that's kind of insulting to these judges who are currently on the bench. And maybe they may not be so happy about that the next time that one of Biden's requests ends up in the courtroom. So very good questions, everybody. Thank you for those. Once again, those came over from our locals community. Watching the Watchers.locals.com is a place if you want to go and support us over there. And we want to welcome all the tremendous new people who did join up today. Let's say hello to these awesome individuals. Look at this new design. Oh my goodness, Miss Faith. Outstanding. Round of applause for Miss Faith, everybody in the chat. Yeah, she's just outstanding. Look how beautiful this looks. Welcome, everybody. Let's give big welcomes to Blue Collar Worker. Welcome to the community. We got Beep Beep Boop in the house, not Beep Boop Beep. We have Beep Beep Boop. We have Pro Bono. Welcome to the community. We got Jordan 0495. Diffusco's in the house. Gregory Nicholas. Welcome to the community. Honestly, Rational saw you today. Jack Sparrow. Welcome to you as well. David 1 in the house. We have Mock IJV. HLB saw you today as well. And Vader Sombra. Vadir Sombra. Is that a foreign language? Hopefully that's not profanity, as I don't know what that means, but it looks like a foreign language. I also want to, first of all, welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining up. It means the world to us. We're really having a lot of fun building up our locals community. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much, sincerely, for helping us out and joining a great place to be. Also want to thank all of those of you who participated in the chat today. Big shout out to Pato. Viva Frey was in the house. Make sure they get a subscribe over on YouTube. As always, what's up to Hack Consulting? Jeremy Matrita in the house. We got Chairman of the Board, Todd Trout, Liberty or Death, News Now, Wyoming, Woodworking Medic, Justice First, and you know who you are, everybody. Thank you so much for being there. And look at this new little thing that Mr. Ma Fox put together for us. Look at this. Oh, these are all of our other supporters who are on locals.com. And so we'll just let that scroll for a little bit. There's so much that you can get over at that community. Look at all these people who are just being a part of building a new little community where we can talk about a lot of things like free speech and low taxes and justice reform, which is really what this whole show is about. It's about accountability and transparency and making sure that the system is held accountable by talking about these issues. Look at this thing. It just keeps going. Oh my goodness. Well, and I want to let it run to the end because you're going to notice, I think, a little something that comes out at the end. And in the future, I'm going to have to work on something else to talk about while I fill this time. Is it coming? All right, maybe it's not there. We'll see if it comes tomorrow. But we are very grateful to Ma. Ma put that together. And so we're going to run that, I think, at the end of our clips so that everybody on Locals gets a little bit of a shout out at the end of our videos, even when I don't have time to say thank you. So we're always trying to up our production value here. We're trying to play around and have some fun. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. Thank you to Ma for putting that together. It's beautiful. It looks super cool. And I'm enjoying that. So there are other reasons to go join Locals. If you haven't heard them already, one is to download a free copy of my book, free PDF over there called Beginning to Winning. Also grab a copy of my slides. The PowerPoint slides that we went through today are available for download. Get a copy of my impeachment party documents as well as my personal productivity system called Existence Systems, available for download over there. Share links throughout the day, jump in on comments, and meet some great people. There's a lot of reasons to go and join our community at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Throw that into your web browser, sign up, and be a part of the show. And before we get out of here, lastly but not leastly, I am a criminal defense attorney here at the R&R Law Group. We love to help good people who have been charged with crimes find safety, clarity, and hope in their cases and in their future. So if you happen to know anybody in the state of Arizona who has been charged with a crime, things like DUIs, drugs, domestic violence, any felony cases, misdemeanor cases, traffic cases, old warrants, old mugshots, if you want to restore your rights to vote, possess firearms, apply for federal benefits, if you just want to clear things up, we are the team to help you do that. We have an awesome group of people here who are seriously dedicated to helping people, and we're very passionate about what we do, and we're not bad at it. So if you need some help or know anybody that does, we would be honored and humbled if you sent them our direction so that we would have the opportunity to see what we can do to help. We'll make sure that they leave our office better than they found us, and so we'd be very grateful for any of those referrals if you happen to have them. Otherwise, we're going to be back here tomorrow. We're going to plug along. I don't expect to have much on the Chauvin trial, but we still have to talk about the jury instructions. So we're going to go through those. I'm not sure we're going to see any in-court activity tomorrow. I don't know what the deal is with that, but we are going to talk about it because tomorrow's Friday. We got to come back ready to rock and roll on Monday with closing arguments, and so I want you to join us for that and whatever news develops because there has been a lot of it lately. So everybody, want to thank you once again for being here and being a part of the show today. Everybody have a very lovely evening. Sleep well. Have a nice, big, hearty dinner. I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Arizona time, which is 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And for that one Florida man, I'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye-bye.